Welcome one and all, I'm Dan Carey and this is HardHatChat, powered by Core 4. Grab your PPE, it's about to get serious. This episode, we have a TikTok megastar with us in the form of Ben Chapman, the builder. I'm going to go back, I'm going to explain how I know Ben.
Yeah.
Because I think
Do you want to explain who Ben is first?
No. I'm going to explain how I know Ben.
All right.
Then Ben's going to explain who he is.
Okay. And then I'll explain.
So I got obsessed with TikTok about a year ago. Yeah, I was proper addicted to it, and scrolling through things and all that. And there's a few people on there that have got a lot to say, and a lot of it's waffle. And there's other people that you listen to and you go, okay, yeah, that's all right. Yeah, he's got a voice. He's got his own voice. He's sticking up for himself and others and the right people. And then Ben was in that category. So that's sort of how I come across Ben. And then I don't know, I think we just started interacting on a couple of bits. And then my eldest boy, George, is Ben's biggest fan. So he will comment on all of Ben's TikToks instantly, bang. I noticed something, George just commented on something, right? And it was all, that is basically how I started talking to Ben. Then what brought us together, Ben?
I don't even know, to be fair.
It was conversations about bad customers.
I think it was actually, to be fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
You started commenting on some of the videos
because you was quite vocal around some of your customers and what they're up to, the dirty tricks they were playing and stuff. So let's go in there. Tell us a bit about yourself, Ben. What you do.
Myself, general builder, I guess. I guess I'm no different from any other general builder in the industry. Started off when I was early 20s, jumped straight into loft conversions, extensions, things like that. And yeah, as I say, I've just built up from there.
So you typically, you're on the domestic side of the market?
Mostly domestic, yeah.
Mostly? Until now?
Until now, yeah. So slowly branching into different things and bigger things. Obviously, that's where the money is when you scale up to... obviously, with scale comes more headaches. So.
Yeah, it's the same. I think that was one of your TikToks actually, wasn't it? That you said it's basically the same.
It is the same, isn't
the
it?
decimal place just changes.
Yeah, just move that point over, and the headache increases.
On both sides.
Yeah.
We know that, don't we? Yeah. The headache just increases.
Yeah. So this is the difficult customers episode, then, isn't it? Really.
Look, I was trying not to make it the difficult customers episode. I'm trying to keep it positive all the time.
Oh, it is. It's how to deal with difficult customers.
It is how to deal with difficult customers.
The quicker they learn.
And then me and Ben we sort of interacting over TikTok a bit and then exchange numbers. But actually, Ben made a group, a WhatsApp group. And it was for well, explain that about your group.
I don't even know. I just made a WhatsApp group, to be honest. Put loads of tradesmen in it, and they all just sit there chatting. So
I know, but your original idea for that was a little bit. It wasn't quite that they chat. It was that it was to share
valuable information,
help and advice to youngsters, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. That's what it was.
And then it ended up becoming, as all WhatsApp groups do, and it's very difficult. In it, because we started originally and people were putting stuff on there, say they needed help with this, they needed help with that. We was on it. I was going for it was a little bit like Simon Squibb's Help Bank, which I know you love.
Yeah, I like Simon Squibb's stuff.
Yeah. Are we allowed to name him for free?
Yeah.
We like
Simon. It's help free, isn't it? Give free. That's the whole thing.
It was a little bit like that. It was give without expecting to receive.
That's what it is.
Back,
yeah.
But not everyone gets it, do they, Ben?
No.
And that was sort of the problem.
And it became a chit-chat group. I tried to separate off into a separate chit-chat group,
right?
And then no one's talking in the other.
What made me laugh, you would put these messages on, you'd be like, if you keep chatting, I'm going to ban you. And people were like, I'm just letting you know that I've hung a door today and stuff. And it was all kinds of random stuff.
Back to your door hanging.
Yeah. Back to my door hanging. I keep talking about that, I don't know, I've got to stop. But the idea of that's really good. But what was that? Do you know who Simon Squibb is? And well, he's done with that help bank. And he's obviously, he's going to make that worth about £1 trillion.
Pounds, yeah, probably.
So what I'm saying,
It's a nice, wholesome idea, isn't it?
yeah.
Like,
Ben
and
had the
that's-
same idea.
Yeah.
I think in principle it's a good idea,
Yeah.
but it's just how you implement it.
Yeah. You got to have everyone buy into it as well.
I think that's the hard part,
Yeah,
isn't it?
and you got loads of people that were just like, was trying to like give youngsters advice. They would say, "Oh, how do I get into the industry?" Blah blah blah. And some of the advice, as with everything, some of the advice is good and some of it's wholesome, and then other people would just be like, a chip on their shoulder would be giving their opinion rather than advice.
Yeah.
But I like that this platform as well could potentially help youngsters just look at
Construction in a different light.
Look at us, just don't do it.
Just don't do it. Don't even start.
But we say that. So obviously, I've got 1,000 kids, and I don't want my children going into construction with the way it is.
No, it's not great, is it?
And I don't know whether it is. Like, is it?
It's the advice my dad
Is it
gave
gonna
me,
change?
which is why I went into financial services.
How did that work out for you?
Well, I've got there in the end, didn't I?
Yeah.
Just took me 18 years to do it.
And but I love it, and I love so your original sort of social media stuff then was all around like literally you used to put everything on what you done throughout the day. So I would know. We have this system. What's that system we use? What the lads?
Oh, the safety culture app.
Yeah. But I would know more about what Ben done on a job that was unrelated to us.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get records back off our own men.
Yeah.
So I was always like, we're all. That's a different conversation. We're always fighting the fight. We're saying to him, where you at? How you left the site? Because unlike you, we're running a few sites almost remotely, and we're relying on people. And where we're relying on people is like our biggest point of failure.
They'll tell you what you want to hear.
Yeah. So we're saying to them, put a photo on, and there's phone broke, got my phone wet. Then the next thing you know, they're putting a TikTok up.
Cool.
Yeah. So anyway, that's just general people for you, isn't it? Yeah. What's your opinion on people, Kurt? Have you got any facts about people letting you down?
No, I haven't got.
Because you normally have.
This isn't facts about people. I've got some facts about
Okay.
payments within construction, but I don't think this is the right time.
Can we save you? Let's save your facts then. So yeah. So
They are
when
facts.
when me and Ben were having these conversations, then I was making Ben laugh about how, and I sometimes make Curtis laugh, but mainly he holds his head in his hands when I say, "Oh, I'm going back to court to argue something," because I'm just arguing what I believe is right. Yeah, and contracts, like some of our contracts are so brutal, and then we get them customers that just don't want to pay. How do you deal with customers who just don't want to pay? And like I know, it's like the conversations we have is like the cost of picking up money. So you're owed tens of thousands of pounds, but you've got to spend 10 grand to get it back.
That's the hardest thing, isn't it? If someone really doesn't want to pay you and there's a substantial amount, it's going to cost you a substantial amount to chase it. So at which point do you go, can't keep throwing good money at bad money, but I'm principled like you and I'll go to the end because that's the right thing to do in my head.
I know, but it doesn't always make the most commercial sense, does it?
No.
But I think that's what you've got to do. I think we need more people like you and like me that sort of stand up to the contractual side. How did you get on with that one that don't mention no names? That one where they employed that solicitor from the Midlands, and then they were just
still
going
back
on.
and forth. Yeah, I've actually got a court date imminently,
and they were just like they were basically they were a bit like a situation we had where they just employed a solicitor, who was a disruptor. So the tactic was, okay, we know we're in the wrong legally, we know we owe the money, but what we're going to do is disrupt the situation.
Yeah.
And we're going to cause Ben all this hassle.
Delay,
Delay, because who's got deeper pockets? It comes down to that. Because Ben, most of your work is like high end, like North London developments, isn't it? It's like people with money, isn't it? This isn't like just someone who desperately needs a bedroom extension. This is someone doing a total refurb on their house and doing it high
end. They've got designers involved. They're fully committed to a certain level of finish that they desire, and they've got the money for it. So
how do you get that sort of work?
Through word of mouth, really.
Yeah, don't advertise.
No,
Through
haven't
word of mouth.
advertised for about 6-7 years, just through designers, architects.
It's good.
Yeah.
And you do a nice you do a nice level of work, don't you?
It's nice, but again, it's hard to scale up. So it's not like you're just repeating the same.
Yeah, because you need more of you,
Mm.
and it's hard to pull you out of the situation.
There's a lot of management involved in that sort of thing when it's high end, and there's a lot of thinking and
I suppose you need a lot of. It's not necessarily repeat work; it's new customers. You'll get elements of repeat.
Exactly, yeah.
But you
and then everything is new, isn't it?
Yeah, you made some cool stuff though. That one you done with them staircases that went. I remember, was there 3 or 4 staircases on top of each other?
4 staircases, yeah.
Yeah,
it's all nice work.
The curved detail and
all
all of
that
that,
deal,
and
yeah.
it was lovely.
But you don't get rich from it.
How do? Yeah, that's what I was going to say. How do you make money off that?
You don't really.
What, you just make wages?
You make more money off the repetitive stuff.
Yeah.
Involved in that job. And then the high end bits, you end up breaking even.
Yeah.
Just covering wages. But then that's what makes people are only looking at that at the end of it. People aren't looking at the 3 metre footing that you've dug, you've earned your money on.
Yeah. Well, that's part of our frustration today. Funnily enough, what happened? We had a job and we should have enabled the whole job, but we got that stripped from us and it got given to a demolition contractor. And we had the bulk of, or we would have made a bulk of money on moving that earth.
Of course.
Yeah? That's been stripped out of our package, and now we've been left with like the tricky bits,
all the leftovers.
Yeah. So we've got to deal with all the tricky bits now, but we haven't got no money in for dealing with any of that bulk work where we would have made money. And that was, I started like off as a carpenter. I was doing stuff in Belsize Park and all that around there, like nice work. And I quickly realised that you couldn't, no one really wanted to pay for them shadow gaps and all of that, but they would, like you say, pay more for something done in their garden or on their driveway, underpinning their house because they just didn't understand it. Yeah, when really it's quite a basic process, like digging a hole, putting concrete in the ground.
It is all basic, isn't it? But it's only when you know.
Yeah, when you know
the procedure ABC.
Yeah, but because it's an unknown.
Yeah.
But I look at particularly, who's that Tyler you have?
Artan.
Yeah, he's good, isn't he?
Yeah, he's really good. He's really expensive, but he's good.
Yeah, but you don't mind paying for that, do you? Like some of the way that he miters these porcelain tiles and all of that is like amazing.
His work's flawless.
And it's what you want if you've got a £2-3 million dwelling, I suppose, isn't it?
But the average customer, they won't know about that until they see the difference. They'll go for the cheaper quote until they see his work next to that.
Do you have that a lot?
And then it's like, oh, I wish I had that.
Yeah. Do you have people wasting your time like that? Like you're quoting and you're just thinking, you ain't really gonna.
To be honest, it doesn't happen so much now, but I used to a lot.
But now they come to you because they know.
If it comes for a recommendation, then you've got more of a chance that they're actually serious rather than you're talking about kitchen extension over dinner last night with your missus, and now you've come around to quote it, but you're not actually serious about it.
Yeah. And I suppose in your field, that if someone's buying on price, it's not the right fit for you because you want to do.
I want to do the higher end stuff. Yeah, exactly. If they start penny pinching you in the beginning when you're just quoting the job, then when you start talking about finishes later down the line, it's just
you'll end up in dispute.
So have you jumped into like the commercial side of things recently then?
Not really. I mean, I'm doing a higher end, more scaled up residential, if you like. So the firm that I'm working for at the moment.
But they are more commercially minded.
They're still commercially minded,
yeah. So it's not that they're not the end user, are they?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess that is contracting, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is contracting,
yeah.
So do you have all the meetings where, we could save money if we done this? Yeah.
When in reality,
our favourite,
just get on with it and you would have saved the money.
What do they call that, Aaron? I've got memory blank. Mind blank.
Design team meetings, is it?
Nah, just
the QS.
What the QS is.
Penny pinching.
No, they don't call it.
Oh, that's what we
value
call it.
engineering.
Oh,
value engineering.
Oh, we value engineered this like within an inch of its life.
Yeah, but you've talked about it for 3 months.
Yeah.
With 6 people.
Yeah. And so the job I've been on today, like it's raining, we're going at the time of year where it's like it's going to get worse, and they've been value engineering this job for so long, for nearly 3 months. Yeah, if we started it when we should have started it,
Be done.
yeah, and then we could have played with the bits of concrete in the ground and all of that. But now we're moving into a time of year when we can't really.
You don't want to be in the
You've
ground.
got to have the decision, and you've got to be moving out. Yeah, you need to be coming out of the ground now. But still,
Yeah, and that's every contractor pretty much like we deal with, isn't it? Every main contractor,
yeah, unfortunately,
every
isn't it?
project, as different as they are. Like,
And is that because you're dealing with people higher up that aren't the ones on the ground looking at it?
yeah, I think
realistically,
there's so many people involved. As
Mm.
well,
We
isn't there?
work-
You'll
we
have a
work-
designer, you'll have
yeah.
a site team,
Mm.
you'll have a
So
Like,
we're working for an organisation, but we're working for a contractor, like a main contractor
Mhm.
that's working for an established organisation. So like within the UK, quite a big organisation. Then this contractor's saying to them, "Oh, we can deliver all of your project. Like we deliver your £50 million worth of projects this year with our supply chain." And then like they come to Core 4 as part of their supply chain. They deliver it, but they want to value engineer it all the time. So they want to go, "Oh, I know we got this job.
As you're going through the job.
that we've got to do."
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
So, well, it is normally before, but you get it through
yeah.
throughout the job.
Anything that we've ever done really has been the same, hasn't it?
Mm.
We'll have these meetings with senior people at these large firms, and a teams meeting, right, drives me mad now, Ben, because back in the day we used to go meet everyone you'd have breakfast, you'd have coffee. Now you get called into a teams meeting constantly. So most of the time I won't make them, or I'll always be doing something else when I'm on the teams. And then I think, right, no one is actually concentrating on a teams meeting because they'll also be doing the same thing.
Of course.
Yeah.
So I do what I can to have the meetings out on site. But we're doing these teams meetings with some of these senior guys, and they're pull stuff up from like eBay, and they say, "Oh, we know you've allowed for this.
That was funny.
We know you've allowed for this amazing system, but on eBay you can buy." And I'll go,
Hang on a minute.
"Like on eBay, what are you talking about? Like, let's just stop this conversation." Like, it fries my brain straight away because I start thinking, obviously, anything you can buy cheaper,
Of course.
but you can't. It don't mean it's no better. And that all the time, and I'm thinking, why do they want to buy it cheaper? They want to buy it cheaper just because they want to make more profit. They don't want to buy it cheaper because they need to buy it cheaper.
And that was a safety.
Oh yeah, it's a massive
Like-
safety thing as well, wasn't
Like,
it?
yeah. So you don't want to cut corners like there at all. But well, they don't.
This is it though. People making decisions that actually don't know about
Yeah.
what they're buying. They're just seeing
Yeah,
numbers
yeah.
on the
So-
screen, aren't they?
I've noticed that, and I didn't go this way. I did get sort of like SMSTS qualification, and I've still got my blue CSS card and things. I didn't go down the route of like going to university and becoming like a construction manager with this level 7 with this, that, and the other, because those guys, I do think I have marked. The conversations are so much different with them guys to a site manager who was once on the tools,
Of course.
because they just don't get it.
Experience speaks
Yeah,
volumes, doesn't
and
it?
I'm like, if you can, the amount of times that people ask us, like, how are you going to dig this hole? What do you mean? Like, but just how do you do it? They don't know the basics, and they don't know, they can't see that we've got to get machinery and we've got to do this, we've got to do that. And they just ask simple things like, oh, what's the latest one?
Oh,
RAM, the RAMs are never right, are they?
No, you can't fill this bit out on site. You've got to do it before, but there's elements that you don't know till you get to site. So
Yeah.
You can't. Yeah.
Paperwork, like just filling paperwork out
Just box ticking.
for the sake
Yeah.
of filling it
Yeah.
out. Driving,
yeah, because it's got to go to someone that hasn't ever been to that site for them to sign off.
Yeah, for them to agree that we can work on that site. And then you're thinking the whole idea of this form is to make your men think, oh, can we do this? Can we do that? Like, how do we do this safely? Rather than them reading a massive document.
Mm.
And it's to keep us and our guys safe. Like, it's none of them are involved in any of the
Yeah.
works either, are they? But obviously it'll come back to them one way or the other, I suppose, if something goes wrong. But
It seems like a lot of it is just box ticking, isn't it? And just
yeah,
passing that risk over to the next one.
I think that's the bit. That is the kind of the bigger side of construction now, isn't it? Is that
It's
the right
management, isn't it?
terminology? Yeah, it is just right. So
That's in every area, though, isn't it? It's not just like that. We're talking about mental health and big boys having things as a box ticking exercise, and that was it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it doesn't actually make a difference, but that's a whole nother episode.
Yeah, that is well done.
Yeah, I just noted that down.
A whole nother episode. So you're gonna go to court soon over this dispute you got, yeah?
Imminently, yeah.
You're gonna win.
Let's see. I don't know. It's the first hearing, so
I reckon you're gonna win.
I hope so. So let's see.
You got a good guy on it, haven't you?
I have actually, yeah. Yeah, it's good, but there's no way they can win. They're just trying to drag it out for so long that it ends up costing me more than what it's worth. But one of those things.
I know, and that is the painful thing, isn't it? What do you do with that?
Well, have you got this far with like court cases and stuff before?
I've only done one other before, and I won that.
Yeah.
But that was small. But I've never done anything big.
Nice.
But let's see.
Wow.
Go on then, Kurt. Give us some court related debt facts in construction.
Court related facts?
no, not court related.
Right, that's it.
Just facts.
I'm going to make up some court related facts.
No, just facts on Judge
Well,
Judy,
no.
please.
So when I knew we'd be chatting around payment and stuff, I looked up. So Build UK publish figures on like construction payment performance, but the only companies on there have to voluntarily sign up in the first place. So it's not everybody.
Right.
So it's already a bit of a broken system, if you like. But just a couple of interesting bits.
This is business to business payments.
And this is only construction based. These numbers. So only 18% of invoices were not paid within their agreed terms, which I thought was quite low.
Yeah, but then what are the terms?
Well,
60 days.
So this is the point. So of the 5 worst, there were 3 house builders in there. I'm not going to name them, but one had 58% of their invoices weren't paid within their agreed terms, and their longest standard terms were 91 days.
Wow.
Yeah, which is savage, isn't it?
But that's too long. Who can float that?
Yeah. Well, of the 3 construction firms, two were 91 days, and one was 58%, one was 48% not paid within term. Another one was 60 days, which is generally what we tend to see more of, and 45% of theirs weren't paid within term. So some people are we're waiting 4 months,
and the impact on that to a small business can be
because that's who they're going to be
death,
using.
can't it?
Yeah, their supply chain is all small.
Yeah.
It's basically us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing to us. Now, what do we do, Kurt, to get around that? We try to write the terms down, don't we?
Yeah, we have done on a couple of them.
What sort of terms do you work with usually?
It does vary, but
we normally get 60 month end, and we'll say we'll accept 30 month end. So like 30 month end could be, the 1st of December payments and getting paid to the end of October.
Mm-hmm.
Still a long time. What are you saying on your invoices?
Mine's 30 days at the moment.
Yeah. Which is tough, isn't it? 30 days from invoice.
No. Well, it's 60 days total.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah. So
it's end of the month, then invoice, then wait a month.
But you're paying all your boys weekly?
I'm paying them all weekly. Some I can squeeze 2 weekly.
Yeah.
But I'm domestic. I'm used to weekly.
Yeah.
But this is all it's all floated. Yeah. And then you get your money back 60 days later. Or hopefully.
How's it working for you?
It's been okay. Yeah, it's been all right. But yeah, I've caught up now. I'm not used to it though. This is all new to me. So
yeah, it is tough. I mean, some of ours are on month end plus 45, month end plus 30. One we didn't know about. So one we done some bits for recently was month end plus 60.
Mm-hmm.
But what they didn't tell us is that if your invoice wasn't in before the 5th of the month, then it's missed that month's deadline. So it goes on the following month.
Right.
So if you did the work for them on the 6th, you're floating it for the rest of that month.
Wow.
Plus, then once you do invoice, you're another well, 90 days.
I think it
On
is
top of that,
the biggest problem with construction firms. I think it's why these management companies become so big and such monsters, and then we see the likes of the Carillions and the ISGs go down the pan because the margins are so small.
Of course, it takes one little problem, doesn't
One
it,
thing
to
to go
affect
wrong.
the whole thing.
I think we should do more. People should do what we do, where you stand up to it, you actually read the contract, cross out the bits that you don't agree to. You go back and you say, I'll accept 32 days, but I'm not going to accept 60.
Yeah.
I was speaking to someone about this the other day, and it's like, it's a great idea in principle, isn't it? Because you could just start up a construction company with no money and just sub it all out and get everyone else to fund your project.
Yeah.
Like, it just takes one little problem, and everyone ends up getting
everyone's
swallowed in.
Yeah.
There was a house builder that went bust not that long ago. How much did they owe, Kurt?
Oh, yeah. It was like, I can't remember the exact number, but it was around 300 million.
So they owed 300 million.
Yeah.
How much did they have
And
in
they
the
had
bank?
like 28 grand in the bank.
Wow.
So you think that's 300 million that's going to be shouldered by the likes of me and you,
Mm-hmm.
and then they only had that money in the bank.
It's impressive, actually. Like, in a way.
You're trying to get that business model, aren't you? You're like, wait, how did they do this?
Oh, you imagine. It's so stressful.
But yeah, I think that's the thing, isn't it? I think that would be, if you was the FD of that firm, that'd be proper stressful.
Yeah.
Well, knowing you've got no money.
Knowing you've got no money.
You're just literally
and
waiting.
You're ruining people's lives.
Literally robbing Peter's paper every month.
I think like those are, so what they were doing is they were building like timber frame houses. They were pushing the inside right the way forward, getting up to like being 80% complete, but they weren't putting the skin around the outside.
Mm-hmm.
So they weren't bricking the outside up. So you need to really, you're going to push forward, you're going to put your roofs on, you're going to start putting boilers and stuff in, or air source heat pumps, whatever it is these days. You've still got to get the outside watertight. And what they're doing is like to look good to their clients, and not the landowners, the housing associations, whoever's buying them. They're pushing forward and they're saying, oh, we're getting so much done, we've got so much progress on site, but they're missing fundamentals. Like they stick up a timber frame, won't stick enough scaffold around it to do the brickwork. So they skip that phase, but then maybe they claim that percentage complete. And then they're getting to a point where they're running out of money. And then like that one just down the road had to be knocked down completely.
Yeah, it's flattened now. I drove past it there.
Completely knocked down because it was built in the wrong sequence. And then like that's again like someone somewhere just trying to crunch some numbers and saying, oh, we can make so much more money by doing things this way.
I see, like a lot of things are sequencing, aren't they? And you need to have that experience to be able to know how that pans out and what order. Otherwise, it's just you can get a whole package of work, split it up into little jobs and go, okay, everyone get on with their own bit.
Yeah.
But there's that grey area where it all bridges together.
Yeah. And
without it, it's you end up building crap houses, don't you?
And that's experience,
Yeah. Well, we had it with, I won't name, someone who was wrote construction programs, and we were working on their house on some customer service work, and the questions we were being asked about sort of basic patio works and things like that, and he's there writing construction plans.
Oh yeah, I know.
Like for big firms.
So he'd write the whole construction phase plan.
Yeah.
But he didn't really know what he was writing.
He's doing,
And then we're getting that again on the commercial side of things.
Yeah.
So we're turning up on jobs, aren't we? And they're going, there's a scaffold there, there's a skip there, there's a mute there, you're doing all your works at the back here. And they've drawn it.
You've got to park in this bit.
And it looks beautiful. And then you'll ask them something like, you'll say, okay, so if we can't drive through the car park to get to this area where the compound is, where everything is, how do we get there? And they go, oh, I don't know. But they've planned it for months, haven't they? All of these jobs, and they've got all these people drawing, doing all these things, and they haven't done like the most basic things. And then they say to us, like, all the time we get this, there's no parking on site. How do you expect something to be done with no parking on site?
No, yeah.
And it's like going back to basics, isn't it? Thinking, okay, I need to turn up on site. I need like men to do it. They're going to have to get there. You can't just be in the middle of nowhere and say there's no parking on site. And these aren't even the jobs in the city. But that bit's getting worse, isn't it, for us to control?
Yeah, so we're looking at Chinooks, aren't we?
Actually,
to start dropping
any excuse to buy anything like that, I'm all over it.
We did look at fire engines before, didn't we?
Yeah. Well, we had a job where they said, "Oh, you got to do a wheel wash." It was a big mark job. It's in East London somewhere, wasn't it? And I said, "Oh yeah, well, if we're going to pull out of here, we could have our jet washes and like, have a couple of boys washing wheels down, or we could buy an old fire engine and have that washing the wheels down, and then afterwards, I could drive around a fire engine." That was as far as I got. We actually won the job, but we backed out of it in the end. I think we had something else on that was a bit closer to home or something overrun. But that's how I like to think. I like things like that, don't I?
Yeah, finding solutions.
Yeah, just like if you've got to wash some wheels, wash it with
Get
a
fire engine.
Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it? One other stat off the Build UK figures was main contractors are actually slightly better at paying within term and sometimes better than term. So 55% of them pay 30 days or less. And I would say that's probably been our experience as well. I don't know if you'd agree with that, Dan.
I don't agree with none of that.
Do you not?
Nah,
Fair enough.
that's all I've got to say. Is that all the facts you got on this?
Well, these are actually facts.
These are actually facts. These are not just tedious links.
No. Well, I could give you more, but they're quite numbers heavy, and I don't think they're that.
So,
interesting.
is there anything? And me and Ben have discussed this as well, right? In the past, like a checker trade for customers.
No,
Like,
it's a
it's
good
always
idea.
like-
though.
That's what we need.
It's
Yeah.
always like you get slated as a tradesman, as a builder. You can get slated. People can leave a Google review.
Yeah.
You know, what about Mrs. Smith who doesn't want to pay her bill?
Like almost like an Uber. Like,
Our credit score
Yeah.
for
yeah.
homeowners.
Yeah.
Do you think this is something we could do?
I think it's a good subscription model, isn't it, for something?
I think we need to do it.
Because you would prioritise like
Oh, you
good
could
customers as well.
you
wouldn't
could get-
So as a customer, you'd want.
yeah.
Yeah.
You'd get the base, wouldn't you, by getting in touch with all the tradesmen you know that have had a bad experience, starting from there.
I suppose the danger is though, like, because we obviously, whenever we're working with like a new company, a new client, we'll always do like a credit check on them.
Mm-hmm.
It's still not a foolproof.
Of course not.
Like,
No, you've got to have a personal relationship.
yeah,
Because the minute you don't, you just doofed, didn't you?
yeah,
You could be working for the biggest firm, you know, and if they don't like you, they just won't pay you. But if they do like you, they come back and they say, "Oh, it's X, Y, and Z. You need to do this and that on the other on your invoice."
You know, it always comes down to the one you're dealing with that's going to press that button, doesn't it?
Yeah. Construction is all on relationships.
Any business is, isn't it? I think.
How have you found your suppliers as you've grown and your jobs have got bigger? Have your suppliers helped you?
Yeah, but they're not that helpful.
No. We think that.
Yeah, it's tough, really.
Because we try and share good news, don't we, as well?
Yeah.
As well as bad news. We try and share, like, say, "Oh, we've won this, that, and the other. We're going to be working on this in the next few months." And it's like, you get weird reactions to it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Remember when I sent that thing out a few months ago? Just like an update to the supply chain.
Yeah. That was
And people didn't come back that positive, did they?
no. Was it one was positive, wasn't it? And then pretty much everyone else either ignored it or
Yeah, and all I was doing, Ben, is I basically said, "Oh, we've won like £1 million worth of work, and we're going to be using you as a supply chain moving forward, and we're in these areas over the next." And I thought it was a really good thing.
Yeah.
But it turns out it wasn't. No one really liked it.
Did you get bad response for it?
Yeah, just off the supply chain, like they were just like almost like a bit brash with it. Like, there's your term, there's your limit, mate. You ain't got no more than your limit. You get that sort of feedback off them. Well, we actually had some people back out, didn't we?
Yeah.
On the basis of some of the nationals just went, right,
Yeah.
we ain't in your
area
anymore.
we did. I think it's back to that personal like relationship though. Like if you've got like a good relationship with your local timber merchants or whoever it is, like then like that's great. But to get that across the board, it's a bit of a difficult conversation sometimes, isn't it? Because they don't know you from
and in the grand scheme of things, your order is probably still minuscule.
If they're national, it's nothing, is it?
Yeah.
To get some block. But we said we'd keep this positive. So, what's positive?
Ben's back on TikTok.
Back on TikTok.
Good news. What's your handle?
Huh?
What's your handle?
Just my name.
Nice.
Yeah.
Say it then. What's
Ben
your name?
Chapman.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
Just search my name, you'll find me.
We went earlier on in the year.
Yeah.
Where did I go? Construction week.
Oh.
Ben come with me.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever get pester by all them people that were saying they were going to pester you?
No.
That's what makes you laugh, doesn't it?
I still get stopped. I got stopped in the kebab shop the other night.
So basically we walked into like, I don't know, see, look at the fixings. I think it was something like that. And this guy has literally gone to me. He's gone, "Oh, mate, can you take a picture of me and Ben?" And I was like, I felt like I was walking around with actual royalty.
Honestly, it's weird.
TikTok royalty. But they went, as soon as they know like how many followers he's got and things like that.
Yeah.
When we was walking around UK Construction Week, they were jumping on him. They were like, "Oh, we give you some free stuff. We give you some free stuff." But the interesting takeaway is they all took his details.
They don't.
And no one contacted.
None of them.
Strange.
Saying that, what was it? The Crusher.
Yeah.
I felt I got a message from him.
He was keen, wasn't he?
Yeah. Rhino Crusher.
Yeah.
But the others, they're just...
Yeah.
But it's weird. We've been stopped a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
What's the weirdest place you've been? I mean, kebab shops.
Kebab shop, Shell Garage, on the A406, people waving out the window to me.
Yeah.
People outside the job.
You've not even got sign writing on your van, have you?
Nothing.
Why haven't you got sign writing on your van?
I don't want
I thought you would have...
No.
Like as seen on...
No. Just picture my face. At Ben Chapman.
Yeah. You're speaking to the man that puts his face on everything.
I know.
I put my face on it. I would so do that.
Cool.
In fact,
what's your...
I would do it for you.
What's your
Foreman.
mascot?
Foreman.
No, it was someone else before, wasn't it? The superhero.
Yeah,
Is it Foreman?
Foreman,
Is it?
Yeah. I mean, the fact of the matter is, okay, you know that I've got a mascot. You didn't really know the name. I'll let you off. But that is what people talk about with us.
Mm.
So what happens with us is we go into a big office environment. We'll be talking about a very minuscule job within that, say, sector or division or whatever. And then people know us from the cookies, from like the Mini that's wrapped like superheroes flying down the side of it and you're the head when you're driving it. Like, all the merch we chuck at them, they know it because all them sort of things just work.
Definitely.
And
the Mini.
Yeah, I said about the Mini.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Sorry. I switched off.
Are you listening?
I am.
Are you trying to think of some interesting facts?
I'm trying to make up the next fact.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it does work though. I think it's anything to be a little bit
different,
a little bit memorable, isn't it? I know we've touched on that before anyway, haven't we? But you just got to keep pushing that, haven't you? And then, like you say, like your model with referrals, that works as well, doesn't it? That's a good place to be.
The only problem is
you can't scale up, can you? There's a limit, I suppose, unless you've got really good, big contacts, I suppose. But
how do you scale up then, or do you want to scale up?
I don't know if I want to scale up in that area because eventually you're going to start compromising quality, aren't you, for quantity?
Yeah.
Because then how do you control it? How do you manage it?
Yeah. Well, you just become a management contractor, but then you're rushing around everywhere.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it?
It's hard to,
I think it's easier to scale one single job.
Yeah. Like if you was just a carpenter. I say just a carpenter. That's probably the most difficult one that I could have found because that touches everything. Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Block paving.
Yeah.
But you're doing it on massive scale. Like you're doing the whole car park.
Oh, no, believe me, we struggle with that.
Yeah, we did.
I mean, we found out that we're better at, so we hit this niche, like these customer service jobs. We're talking like house builders that have all these problems. And then they give us like all these ticket numbers of all these problems. And we go there, we turn up at these plots that are now people's houses. And we were just like smash through them or make all them problems go away,
Mhm.
and they think we're brilliant because of it.
Of course.
But all it is we can just see
where the
you
issues
can just
are.
see where the issues are, and you just the guys are very unique. Like the guys that we got that do it, they're quite good at it, aren't they? And we never set out to do that, did we? We never set out to be like, oh yeah, customer service division, but we ended up being quite good at it.
Yeah, I think being able to talk to difficult people as well is.
Yeah, because what we do, the first thing, like people will answer the door and then they start screaming and shouting at you, and you go, oh, I'm nothing to do with it.
Of course,
yeah.
It's a bit of PR, isn't it? I think,
yeah. And I'm normally dressed as a superhero.
Of course it is.
At that point.
With your pants on the outside.
yeah. And people are like, they don't know whether
it wasn't intentional.
No.
They don't know whether I've just escaped from the local house. So they say to me, like, yeah, come on in. Let's sort out these issues. And I think that goes back to just people buying off people, doesn't it? Again,
it is, yeah. Relationships again, isn't it?
Just carving in relationships is easy. But I could never do what you do, where I deal with one domestic client that is spending their life savings on an extension with me, because I don't know if I have patience for that.
No, we're no. I think we're more set up for. Well, not more set up, but we're better at the quicker, smaller jobs, I would say, as well. Like those, I think that's why the customer service ones are sort of quite good.
Is that why you say you earn your most money on a quick?
In percentage terms,
that's the thing, and the risk is always lower.
Of course.
So percentage terms, you'll make more money. You've just got a smaller job.
You've just got to do lots of volume on those.
Yeah.
Which, as bad as some of the projects we've like put right for people are, they're not making mistakes like that on every plot. So
so we might go and rip up whole patios, whole drives, things like that. But you think if we go on a housing estate that's got 400 or 500 plots on it, and for them to have on a percentage, for them to have a problem with two plots, they're like, the end user and the house builder looks at it like, it's collateral damage. Like,
is what it is,
just pay the 30 grand, get it done.
And
we're going, wow, like, how can this be that wrong? Well, we used to, but now we just accept it. It's crazy that like bungs get left in drains, people move in houses, then they don't realise nothing till their brand new kitchen floods with sewage, and then we turn up and we have to like put it right. And it would just be as simple as someone's left something in their drain.
Things like that.
Yeah.
Like I was saying earlier, it's that transition, isn't it, between trades.
Yeah.
One trade comes in, does their job, the next one does theirs. Yeah. But the manager in the middle isn't actually checking it, he's just ticking the box and it's done.
He's not checking the fundamentals.
Yeah.
He looked down the manholes, but he's not worried about the bit of pipe that runs underneath. But they should be. The paperwork's there for it, and they just like miss it, don't they?
Yes.
I reckon this episode with Ben is done.
Should we wrapped it up? We should probably have an outro.
Let's do an outro, Luke.
Yeah, so it was nice not to concentrate on all negative things when talking about difficult customers.
I don't think we concentrate, and this is part of the problem. My missus would say to me, if I've been on the phone to Ben, who was you on the phone to for 90 minutes talking absolute waffle?
We do talk, don't we?
We do like to chat, and it's nice to chat, and it's nice to become, like, for me, anyway, I'm speaking maybe like for Ben, but it's nice to meet different people. Like me and Ben, our paths might not have crossed if it wasn't for TikTok. So the power of TikTok,
there you are,
is what I'm saying.
There we go.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the takeaway, isn't it?
That's it.
I think that's nice. But it was nice to see you, Ben. Thanks for popping in.
You too, mate.
Thank you. And then maybe innovation in marketing is another topic for another day.
What are you talking about now, Carl?
I don't know.
Innovation in marketing.
Well, no, Ben's use of TikTok as a marketing tactic.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's
exactly
a positive thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, and all I've ever wanted to do is get recognised
in a kebab shop.
Yeah.
That's the highlight of my life, honestly.
It is the highlight. Yeah,
nice. So, usual like and subscribe if liking is a thing. We've still not established that on podcasts.
No, it's a review, isn't it?
Reviews.
So leave us a review if you liked it.
Subscribe at your usual podcast places.
So we're going to do another one with Ben. We're going to talk about something else. I think we're going to theme it more.
Yeah.
Moving forward.
Yeah. Oh, we've got multiple series in this. I'm not even joking. Ben might even have his own series, like his own season with us.
Yeah. Let's do it. Right. Thanks, Ben.
Thank
Nice
you.
one. Cheers, guys.
I sounded echoey this time, Kurt.
It's because we've got a third mic.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Can you hear everything? All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Straight in.
Straight in.